of coffee in my new Care Bears Forever mug. My hair was straightened before, but I put a reconstructing conditioner in. This doesn't have anything to do with the reading, other than just for the way that it kind of like sets the scene for the person I'm reading this for. And this is Jahdé's, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, reading. And she's wanting insight from her guides on how to navigate her music career and reputation. She wants to know what she's doing right and what she could be doing better. And I'm using she as a pronoun. And as I was saying it, I was like, is that even? I don't even know if that's the right pronoun to use. So I don't know, like, if you have like a gender thing like I do, because technically a she, and like I don't require that anyone addresses me as anything but a she, but I definitely have like an androgyny about me. But that's besides the point, unless it is relevant to some of these questions that I channeled to ask yourself and that we're gonna look into with the cards. So I took notes. So, two main themes. Number one, who are you meant to be in this phase of life? And then there's three sub questions underneath that. What do you symbolize to those most willing to support you right now? How is that different from who you've been before? And how can you share your transition process from point A to point B? Because I was getting this vibe with like music career that like you could be a storyteller. Part of your like even me, and when I do this work, I'm kind of like telling you guys a story. Like I'm kind of explaining the energy of my life for the ways that you can interpret my life in ways that can benefit you. So it could be helpful. And like when I think of some of those artists that were like most impactful to me, it was usually people who were just like sharing their pain or their grief. Like one of the albums that I really love is well, just artists in general is Lana Del Rey, and her Ultra Violence album. Like I fucking love that album, and I used to cry myself to sleep to that all the time in middle school. I'm not like like I'm not like whatever, but like I really love the way that she like communicates sadness. It was like beautiful sadness, and I like to find the beauty in sadness. And before I was like when I was in middle school, I didn't even really know why I was sad. Like psychologically, I wasn't very aware of myself because I was still very much like becoming a thing. So I couldn't like even really compare my life to other people's lives. You know, I didn't have a really great sense of awareness when I was young. I just knew that I wasn't really happy, basically. And so when I listened to her music, I was like, geez, like, yeah, this is exactly how I feel. But she was talking about like being abused in relationships, and maybe I was going through some kind of abuse, but like it was more like parental and like sibling, like family kind of stuff. But like, you know, so whatever your thing is, finding a way to like explain that, we're gonna get into it deeper, but like finding a way to explain what you've been through is probably the way that you're gonna get popularity. Because even when I made my TikTok account when I was like 18 years old, it was just based off of, and it's 11:11 p.m. right now. I'm just noticing that. So I feel like there's some kind of alignment happening here because I'm a life path number 11. So 11:11. It's a master number. So I think you're going to get some kind of master level reputation or significance from your ability to communicate your life experience. Even think of like Kanye West, right? Because I know like right now everyone has a lot of like negative things to say about Kanye West because he is like shameless in the way that he will communicate what he's been through and how it's impacted him, to an extent that makes other people want to shun him. And you might have to go through a phase like that. Like I definitely did when I was like talking most about what I went through as a kid in my family. It made people in my family be like, oh, we don't want this guy around because you're a liability to my image that I've created for myself of who I am. So that could be a thing that we get into later. But the second part of this reading is going to be what your guides are proud of you for and where you can improve. So for who you are meant to be in this phase of life, I want to use some animal cards, I think, to start with. And those are going to highlight the character traits that you're meant to be embodying the most. I'm going to use a lot of Oracle because I've been finding that I can channel a lot better when I'm just interpreting images, less than like the actual meaning of tarot cards. I don't know why, but I've just been in a groove and like a flow doing that, so I'm gonna just keep doing that. And if you are taking advice from people about how to, thank you, thank you, V. Thanks for being here. I feel like I always see you, so thanks for hanging out. If you're taking advice from anybody, now could be a good time to take that with a grain of salt. Like, not everyone knows what your path to success is going to be. I've had to talk about that a lot when it comes to like my vision of my career and also myself and my personality. Because like I mentioned before, like that whole androgyny thing. So I was put in like a girly box, you know, because I was assigned female at birth and all that stuff. And so whenever I told people like some of the things I wanted to do, I just kind of picked up on this energy of people thinking that I couldn't do it or that I was like smaller, I wasn't fully equipped for all the things that I was asking for out of life. People underestimating what my ability to carry burden is. So it could be either that people have been underestimating, you know, you, or it could be that like, or like, yeah, still that, but as you continue to express yourself through whatever creative form you're feeling called to do that, because it may not always be music, but I do feel like I can pick up on this vibe of you being a natural, like, communicator, like you being meant to have some kind of communication ability, because the card that I did see, yeah, before was raven and now it's wild goose, so it's like bird energy, and you know, birds like sing. So I'm also thinking now of like Forrest Gump. I think, what's her name, Jenny, and she was like, I wish I was a bird so I could fly far, far away. This is a personal reading for Jahdé, and it's a devising destiny reading, and she's asking about her music career and her reputation. So right now we're talking about who she is in this phase of life, and we're just pulling cards for character traits. I gotta learn how to ignore the live chat. I love that you guys are here and like want to talk to me, but then I get worried that the people who are like getting this for themselves are gonna be like, oh my god, you're talking to people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know actually how people feel about that, but yeah, and I could be how you feel when it comes to producing things, like struggling to please everyone, but definitely needing to prioritize yourself and your goals. My cat, I can't see her. She's my shadow cat, and she's somewhere in the room destroying things. So, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be your reading for you to resonate with it, but this is definitely for someone in specific. Like, they paid for this. So, definitely want to honor them in this space. And I might need to, like, light some incense, actually. Bottom of the deck is Salmon, resilience and life cycle. So be willing to do the hard thing, especially if that has to do with putting yourself in front of a crowd or anything like that. Like, I know when I was trying to start a music career, I didn't get very far with it, honestly. Like, I have this microphone like right over here, and I wrote a whole bunch of songs, because really the reason why I was making music was because I'm all about like expressing myself, and everything, like, no matter what I've done in life, there's always been some part of it where I brought my personal experiences to that platform. Even when I was a daycare teacher, like, whatever I did, part of how I was able to be a servant to God, because I've been baptized since I was 14, so I feel like everything that I've done in life, especially since then, has been, you know, because God wants me to. So I bring my own wounding, and I bring my own weakness and vulnerability to pretty much everything that I do. So I feel like you're meant to be doing that in your music career, and the more that you can be vulnerable, the easier it is for you to get that feeling of like, once again, think of your favorite artists. Like, these are people who speak to you in a way that no one else really can, and the only way that they can actually access that level of creativity within themselves is by being vulnerable. Like, I mentioned Lana Del Rey, so she talks about like domestic abuse situations. She talks about like interesting relationships with her, you know, people in her life, disappointment, her own insecurity. Like, there's a song called The Other Woman, where either she was the other woman, like intruding on someone else's relationship, or her relationship is being intruded on, and then she does like this whole like both ways thing, which implies to me that she's been in both positions, so she knows from both perspectives how to empathize with that energy, and she can do it all in the same song. So it's like, the more willing you are to see yourself as not just yourself and also as like a fracture of human experience, I think the easier it will be to create content that speaks to a wide variety of people, and that could help you to see more growth. But then you also have to do the internal work required, which is that salmon energy. And then the cat's in the reverse. I mentioned she was in there destroying stuff. Independence and psychic powers in the reverse. You have to be able to say, hey, this is me, this is my value, and I believe in it. Like, you can have whatever reaction you want to have in the crowd, and I know that whatever I contributed is worth standing alone. And I had to deal with that. Like, I had lessons related to that when I did my first open mics. Like, well, the first time I ever stood up in front of a crowd and performed something, it was, like, nerve-wracking, right? But the first time you do it is kind of the worst or hardest time for me. Because once you've done it the first time and you get that response that the God wants you to have, that reminds you that he put you there to do that and that he gave you that spark to feel motivated to do it in the first place, it feels like, okay, yeah, this is what I should have always been doing. Why haven't I done this more, you know? And I even deal with that level of anxiety when I'm making these videos, right? Because then there's the fact that you guys are just looking at a screen and you're seeing me. And I have all these things going on in my head, and I have all these processes happening behind the scenes that you guys aren't really a part of. So it's like a translation of my divine guidance, my intuition, into human language, and then the hope that it lands with you, the client, the receptive party, in the way that it needs to for you to get to where you need to be. So there could be like a need for you to clarify your intentions for what it is that you want out of your music career, so that you can kind of silence the noise that isn't related to that intention. Like, if your intention is just fame, then it will be harder for you to silence the noise related to rejection, because you'll be focused on the response in the world to what you contribute to the world. If your focus is on pursuing divine purpose, it might be a little bit easier for you to kind of ignore the fact that you might not be having as much success as you might want right now. And I spoke a little bit about that in the last reading that I posted. I might find a way to like link it so you can click on it and watch that. And it was also Devising Destiny, so it's even the same theme of the reading. But like I said, I think I want to get some incense because there's been energy lingering. So, and I want to mention like some of my own struggles, not because I feel like I exist in any kind of level of victim energy, but because when I think of the things that inspired insecurity when it comes to performing for me, I think of those experiences in my childhood where I had like competitive family members, or I just had people who didn't really want to see me get any more attention than I already was getting. And I know that I am an occultist, so it's natural that I would attract people with similar levels of occultability in my life. So I don't know where you feel like you fall in that range of like spiritual and material, but if you know that you're like a really spiritual person and you've perhaps like shared any level of your aspirations with any other people, it could be this energy of other people already seeing what your potential is and kind of wanting to get in the way of that before it has a chance to manifest. So just an example, not because I'm holding resentment or anything like that, but in like middle school, I auditioned for like a talent show, and I wanted to sing the song "Almost There" from Princess and the Frog, and and I performed it for my mom like the night before the audition, and then she was like, I don't like it, I don't think you should do that, and then it like kind of knocked my confidence, and now it's 11:22, and then I ended up changing my entire plan for that audition like the night before. So I ended up doing this monologue instead. Like, I memorized an entire monologue, and then I performed the monologue, and then I didn't get chosen. And I almost kind of feel like, I'll never know for sure, but I almost kind of feel like if I had done the song, I would have maybe been in a talent show, because like I feel like the monologue was maybe too mature. But that's the thing about the spiritual warfare that you might have experienced even at an earlier age, is that it may have actually matured you. So you may have turned out to be a more refined thing than you ever intended to be, just because there were maybe like even bigger obstacles in your path than like most people would have had. So I think there's an opportunity for you to see or to understand or reflect on what obstacles have been put in your way historically and how they've changed you, which is another thing that we're going to talk about later. But let me get the incense. And this is one of my favorite lighters. This is like one of the only lighters that I still have from when I lived in California because I use lighters a lot. But it says "Get a Life." People around here think I'm crazy, but I don't care. Trials and tribulations. Bro, I should have fucking sung that song. I don't know why I didn't. Because I have a Virgo moon, so my relationship with my mom is like really kind of crazy. Like, I really valued her opinion, and like if she said that I shouldn't do something, then I was like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna do it. But then I started to like kind of grow up and be like, dude, I'm not my own person, you know, like I can make independent choices. Like, that's totally cool. If I want to do that, I don't have to like not trust myself just because my mom doesn't see my vision. And I struggled with that for a while. It doesn't have to be that that's your mom. It could be literally anybody in your life who, it could be a best friend, it could be your dad, it could be your sister, your brother, like whoever. And hopefully, like, maybe you can like pick up on this incense cleansing thing, and it maybe helps you to kind of like clear your vision of anything or anyone who might have wanted to cloud it for their own benefit. Okay, so who are you right now? Who are you meant to be in this phase of your life? What are you symbolizing right now to those who are most willing to support you? Trials and tribulations. You know, and she's like saving up for something. Like, I don't know if you are trying to get some equipment. Like, I don't know exactly what you're doing in your music career. You could be like a producer. You could be a singer, songwriter. You could be a ghostwriter. It could be even like helpful for you to figure out alternative ways or like alternative routes towards a destination, right? Because I think of like Pharrell Williams, and I think that he was a producer first before he started making his own music. I could be wrong about that, but like, yeah. We have the bull, male power and virility. These are both really stubborn creatures, the salmon and the bull. In a masculine and a feminine way. I was picking up on that androgynous energy before, and I literally look androgynous in this video. So there could be something about your gender identity that plays into your reputation and is a part of what promotes you as being different. Like, I'm also thinking now of like BK the Ruler. So you could be tough, and maybe part of what you're meant to be communicating to other people is how you got to be so tough. I'm thinking also like TK now. Mama told me never lose, cause baby you're a winner. I was cruising, or I was strolling through his block. He was scrolling on my Twitter, in the trap with the Glock sticker, TK babysitter. I was just trying to shine like some motherfucking glitter. I was under rugs with my cuz trying to up a plug, but she me up, she my love, I ain't sure enough. Said, bitch, I'm a rugrat, I don't know how to love back. There could be something about like, literally just you talking about yourself. Your own, like, hopefully, maybe even just this video of me describing you from like this spiritual perspective could be helpful in terms of like inspiring your creativity. Because it does seem like you're a tough person who can do hard stuff. Maybe you need to be telling stories about what you've lived through. Like, good and bad. Because like I said before, like, none of these experiences are as unique to you as you might think. Like, I was on TikTok earlier, like in the week, and someone had like posted this video of this girl who she was drunk and she like completely pissed her pants. And then like it got like thousands of views and like comments and stuff like that. And then someone in the comments was like, I'd be so mad if my friend posted this video of me pissing on myself. But you don't, like, a lot of people piss on themselves when they get drunk, you know? Like, it's funny shit. So like, basically, don't duck any fades. Like, don't duck any fades. Like, charge head first into your fades, because it could be those fades that end up giving you the platform to speak on your experiences. You know, I'm not saying you want to necessarily talk about, like, every bad thing that ever happened to you or every, like, L you ever took, but, you know. I'm also thinking of Bash for the World, who is, like, a SoundCloud rapper that I listened to, like, his most popular song when it had like 5,000 plays on SoundCloud. So what should I do? I'm gonna give me a bitch that look like you till I come through and fuck out of spite. He's talking about this girl who didn't appreciate him, and what his friend told him about how to like move on from it, and how his dad got shot, but the police wouldn't do anything about it. So like your creative outlet could be your opportunity to advocate for yourself. Raven, magic and destiny. And then in doing that, because I mentioned like what do you symbolize to those most willing to support you? You represent someone who's been through the same things. So then you become not only a tough person, but then also at the same time the soft place to lay your head. Pretty When I Cry, Lana Del Rey. Like, you could have a beautiful way of going through tough things. Dog just barked downstairs. And there's something endearing about the way that you see your life and the circumstances of it, and the way that you move through obstacles and challenges. I was walking my dog the other day, and I came across this like plot of land with cows on it, and the cow that came up to the fence to like say hi to us, I thought it was a bull, but it was actually a woman cow. So I feel like you could have some kind of leader of people vibe, even if that's in some kind of unlikely way. Like you could be a matriarchal figure. I wonder if you can hear my dog kind of confirming downstairs. But he's by himself right now in the dark. He sleeps in a cage. And sometimes he like gets a little lonely. He's a husky, and those are like a social breed. So you might need because a lot of these cards are like just one animal by itself. These are like kind of like solitary vibes to me. It could be helpful for you to get better about using the creativity that you have on your own. So I don't know if you're like waiting for someone to come in to support you and moving forward, like waiting for a feature or like waiting for someone to join your band, but you might need to go ahead and do more things on your own. Speak more independently. Like if I was like, I'm not really getting like a big like Beatles vibe off of you right now. Like at least right now it feels like you're meant to be standing alone and proving to the world that you can stand alone in the things that make you individualistic. And if there was going to be like a pack, now we have the wolf in the reverse. If there was going to be a pack, it would come after you've asserted yourself as like an alpha. So like once you've kind of like proved yourself, that's when the collaborations seem like they would be the most profitable or most productive. Because I mentioned that whole thing of like people getting in your head or like interfering with your creative process, maybe out of jealousy or just because they're not meant to really be there. Like we have Viper, yeah. Why is the salmon here? Koala, family instability in reverse. So yeah, that kind of really confirms for me that you could have like some familial struggles. And you don't have to like maybe in those songs talk about like specifically what happened with your family. Like if you don't want to, it could just be that you're talking about the repercussions of what happened in your family. So like, let's say for example, in relationships, you pick a certain kind of like guy or girl because that's the kind of relationship that you have with your father. Like I don't know, or your mother. Like it's just like there's something about like the patterns of your life and your ability to understand them, and then your ability to like translate that information for other people to better understand themselves through your representation of that energy. So the most important thing is for you to understand you and then be able to communicate what it's like for you to be you. That's where you get the power and popularity and all that stuff from. Gorilla in reverse, because you are really tough. Like the gorilla is coming out to clarify the bull. Nobility and leadership. So definitely don't be afraid to stand alone in whatever these things are that make you how and who you are. And the Viper comes out again. Don't be afraid to be mean either when you're communicating the truths about these experiences. And the Fox. You definitely have the mental quickness to be able to communicate your ideas well. And then I think what will make you really stand out as having quality is that quickness, whatever wit you have, whatever vocabulary you have. Those alpha qualities that you have, the things that make you like above and beyond, that's what will pique the attention of those other people. And you could also just be like me and find that this music aspiration is maybe not like how do I explain that? I'm gonna just tell you about myself. So I pursued music when I was like 18 or 19 years old, and I like met with this producer who was like Grammy nominated, and he wanted me to start making music with him. And then I kind of did for a little bit, and then I stopped, and then I ended up just doing like open mics at like bars and stuff like that, and that was fun too. But I wrote like a bunch of songs. Like I wrote the songs because I like to write the song. I like to write in a rhythm and create patterns and wordplay. And that's just what I like to do. Like, it was just fun, creative outlet for me. I never even recorded like 90% of the stuff that I wrote. So you could be like me and know that you like music, and music could still not be your end-all destiny. So it's up to you to kind of like decide how focused you want to be on music itself as being the end destination. And you might find that you have more fun when you don't see it as the end all be all. Because like in the thumbnail of that video that I was gonna link in this one, it's Cody from Surf's Up, and like everyone was looking at him like, and he wanted surfing to be like the end all be all, and that could definitely be you. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be, right? Like, don't listen to me and let me like discourage you from doing what you want to do, like, at all. It's not the influence I want to have. But what I'm saying is, it could be easier for you to create this content in a more leisurely way. Not that you can't work hard or create really good content in like short amount of time. It's just that if you put too much pressure on yourself, it might activate that fear that actually ends up stagnating you completely. Because that's what happened to me. Like when I got attention from people in Atlanta for music, I kind of like choked. Like, Eminem, he made that song and he was like, knees weak, arms are heavy, it's not, I said it already, arms are getting you so yeah, like, you don't want to choke. And I think one of the ways that you could choke is if you put too much pressure on yourself to be any one thing at one time. So, yeah, be nice to yourself. Don't overinvest in the approval of others or even the approval of yourself, because there were also songs that I wrote that when I performed for my family, they were like, oh yeah, I really like this song, and I didn't even really like that song. So it could be that you could just be really harsh on yourself about what is good, and there could be a need to like take time, because I bet if I like re-looked into my journals and looked at the old songs that I wrote, I would probably appreciate some of those more, having more distance from the emotion that I wrote them in. So yeah. Okay. So how are you different from who you were before? And how can you share that transition process with other people? I'm gonna get a drink. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes aloud. Opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. Completion. And it's an orange card. It's like Seiko Chakra. So I think when you're writing, you're probably going to be talking about the past. Like, most of what you could be feeling called to create is about things that have already happened. Because I think you're meant to be like a teacher. Like I mentioned, that leadership quality. So part of your purpose in this life is probably to be a teacher to people who will be going through that same energy in a later time, or like preluding that for people. Because like I mentioned, like Lana Del Rey for me, and I was like obsessed with her when I was like 13 years old, and then when I listen to her now, I actually have experiences that like relate to that content a lot more directly. Okay, so how are you different than who you used to be, and how can you communicate that transition to people who you're meant to be leading through your purpose? Forgiveness in reverse. It's like this little kid cuddling with a rhinoceros. I think you're both the rhinoceros and the kid. So it could be a good idea for you to get acquainted with your inner beast, whoever that is, whatever form that takes place. Because I was going to say your shadow, but I don't want to make it seem like your inner beast is a bad thing. And it seems like creatively your inner beast is a strength, because it feels like that beastly aspect of yourself is the thing that makes you really seem relatable to other people, like down to earth. And that beast would like only exist to protect that inner child that you have, that we all have. So I think the reason why people appreciate your inner beast is because it matches your inner child. It's like the opposite mirror of it. And people are less likely to want to give up their vulnerability, more likely to appreciate other people's like aggressiveness. Like I mentioned TK, you know? Like obviously a crazy guy. But we all love him because he's like the crash out king. And like crash outs love crash outs because we see ourselves in crash outs. Like I would do that kind of a thing. So if you're not willing to share your weakness, it could be that you're sharing your response to your weakness, how you've adapted to your weakness. Isolation in reverse. So it seems like now you're in the energy of being less concealed about who you are as a person. Like if you were wearing a facade or an image on who you thought that you should be to get acceptance from others, it feels like that's kind of waning. Like literally waning, because I have like there's like a suit on this guy on this card, and I thought of like Bruce Wayne, but it's like Bruce Wayne Batman, which is more of that like beast to man relationship, Jekyll and Hyde. Workaholic in reverse. I mentioned don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like creating from a more like place of leisure is the best way to do it. And then passion in reverse. Like you don't want to burn out your desire to even do the thing because everyone's looking at you to do the thing. Which is part of the reason why I said like working alone towards your creative goals right now is probably the best way to do it. If you can create some kind of organized, self-paced way to accomplish your goal, that's the best thing that you could probably do for yourself. And don't really include other people too much in what your process is, what your timing will be, because as soon as you kind of announce the thing, that's when the opportunity for stalling comes in. Because you might hope the best of some people around you that don't really hope the best for you. And it could be hard for you to see that all the time because of the way that you move through the world. From your position of, like, your first card was that purple card, the crown chakra energy. So, and a lot of your cards are very powerful energies. You have the viper, the gorilla, the raven, the bull, salmon, the fox, the wolf. Like, you yourself are coming out represented by, like big deal cards to me. The only card that here that's not really a big deal to me is the koala, and it's in the reverse. So I feel like, other people could be part of your weakness right now, and I think you might be someone who already kind of knows it about yourself. Like we have the isolation coming out here. You might already know that you're the main character or the leader of the pack, or the heir to whatever. Like you might know that you are the chosen one. Like I'm kind of getting like this Gojo vibe from like Jujutsu Kaisen. Like probably there were a lot of things about your life that have given you the confidence and the fact that you're a standout guy. So as you're getting that confidence, other people are also responding to you in your promotion and ascension in life, and perhaps not always in the way that you might hope for. So just be aware of other people and the ways that they could, like, at least like internally, like even if they never involve you in their bullshit, like feel about you. Some people don't even mean to hate on you, and they just do. Yeah, trickery in the reverse, dude. Perception, upright. So I feel like you're protected from stuff that you don't even understand. Like you might just get feelings about people and then just kind of like start to move differently around them. Or like God himself could be working on your heart space right now to make it clear to you what is worth your emotional investment. I don't feel like you can be full for very long, but it doesn't take long for a blockage to occur. So try to maybe consult with your guides more about where you should be focused. I know this is like literally a reading that's kind of about that, but even beyond this reading and whatever advice I can give you just as a human being trying to translate this energy to you, make sure that you're like consistently kind of going back and checking with your guides about what's what and what's right. Because I do feel like you have a lot of spiritual protection, but you might leave yourself vulnerable to people or situations in your life that appear kind or as having opportunity that actually don't. Like I mentioned that producer who like offered to give me an opportunity, right? And I ended up not moving forward there. And I never even felt a lot of regret about that because something in me told me I didn't have anything to regret about that opportunity not coming through. So I don't know what would have happened if I had invested there. I don't know what would have happened if I had made a song or performed in Atlanta. Because like that was the era like right before Ice Spice popped off and like I had the red hair and everything. So I don't like, you know, I'm not going to say like I should have been Ice Spice, but like I could have been Ice Spice. So, you know, um, don't like even maybe compare your progress too much with other people because you never even know what other people had to go through to be where they are. Like just all the time we look in the news of like TMZ and stuff like that, and there's like a celebrity talking about what kind of abuse they had to put up with just to like get into their seat, into their spot. Like I was like obsessed with Justin Bieber as a kid. And then, you know, he got definitely abused like crazy. Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus abused like crazy. Mary-Kate and Ashley abused like crazy. So don't don't compare yourself too much, and definitely be willing to take that more independent route because that leaves you less in a position of like vulnerability to those who want to have a hand in your ascension. Like I'm thinking more like you might be like a Claro, like Kuko kind of dude, where like you make music on your computer or like on your phone, or like Frank Ocean type shit where you're famous but like no one knows where you are or like what you do. And that would be like probably the better way for you to maintain personal peace and alignment with God, because you would have less to compromise in order to like live in your passion. So, and those kinds of like situations, you know, sometimes they take longer because you're not like having anybody who's working on your marketing team or promoting things for you or stuff like that. But it's okay because it's that more pure sound. Like it's more just you. It's unadulterated. So, yeah. Let's talk now about what your guides are proud of you for. This reading is like going faster than I thought it would, so I might end up pulling other stuff just about like you. This is like a career thing so far, at least. Truth be told, your guides are proud of you for being authentic to yourself and what you want in life. I wonder, like, I don't know, so I wonder, like, what you might have sacrificed to be where you are. What personal transitions you've been willing to share with others. I mentioned that whole, like, gender identity thing. I'm also thinking of, like, some of those more, like, techno-sounding people that I like their music. It's, like, a very, like, you might have a unique sound here. And that could be important to you becoming distinct and separate from the other people who do the same thing as you. Because when I think of even myself as like a tarot reader, like I don't know many other readers like myself, because I think I'm one of the darkest readers that I know. Like, seriously. I know a lot of readers who are light and, you know, like that's clear and obvious, but I definitely am more of like operating on the darker side of the force. So that could be you. Like some of the things that you might have to say, or like some of like your genre of music itself could even be like metal, or you might have like some screaming on the beat, like Josiah. Like Josiah blew up. Fuck, what was that song called? He did that one thing with like the regular show sample. That shit was fire. And then like, screaming. So I don't know like what you need to express here, but whatever that thing is, even if it is dark, like if it's your rhinoceros here or your dragon that you're expressing, there's a value to that, because not all people actually will express that. Like it's rare to actually experience someone being 100% raw, like the rawness is the thing that makes you so valuable. We have peace and serendipity. So I feel like as soon as you finish a creative process, you feel better. And that's the thing that your guides really want to bring to your attention, as the thing that the reason why you should continue to do what you do is because even if no one is seeing what you do, even if you're not getting that immediate feedback, it's about the alchemical process that's kind of happening within you. And then that same energy being available for someone else to access and tap into if they choose to. Like just the fact that you're willing to create an avenue for other people to experience you in that rawness is what's rewarded, karmically speaking. Your guides are all about the fact that you are real and you are raw, and you're willing to be seen in the world as someone who's real and raw. Like, sometimes when I talk about the fact that I'm like... when I talk about the fact that I'm kind of like gender fluid, I get kind of nervous around my conservative homies, because I know they're going to be like, gender fluid? There's just two genders, right? Like, I know that that's, like, the conservative response to me being who I am. And I know that I'm surrounded by a lot of conservative type people now. So, I think about that. But then I'm like, dude, whatever. Like, I know that there's a validity to the fact that I'm a tomboy. Like, I just genuinely am somewhere in between those two things. But I definitely have that thought, that internal anxiety about the fact that I don't really fit in a category the way that some people do really easily. And I always kind of have. I was like super stupid tall, like at a young age. I was stupid tall. I was taller than all the boys. So then like, I didn't really feel like the boys my age saw me as like a girl, like I was 5'8" at like 13 years old. I grew like 3 inches every year of middle school. And like the boys didn't really want to date me because I was taller than them. And then like, the girls were just like, oh, you're like really tall and skinny. Like, what? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. It was weird, bro. And I was also like kind of like sporty and like smart. Like, it was just hard for me to like really feel like I fit in anywhere, honestly. And isolation came out here for you. And part of my rhinoceros that protects my inner child is the fact that like I have this detached, nonchalant kind of presence. So like a lot of times if you perceive me in the world, I have like headphones on and like, or like sunglasses, and I'm like, I'm like, whatever, like I'm here, but like who cares if anybody talks to me, right? And that's my way. Like I've matured into that presence because people used to not like talk to me. So I used to not be readily included in things, and now like I've gotten so comfortable being alone that now I have like the social media presence, and then people are like under the impression that I'm really popular and that I have things like going on, but I literally never leave my house. Like I pretty much live in my mind. Like I have a mind palace, kind of like I attribute myself often to like the character Doctor Strange from Marvel. So I'm like stupid smart, like really smart, but like hard to reach, honestly. Hard to reach. Unless I've decided to like build you into my life, like it's just hard. So we have yin. So there's a focus on your feminine energy here, which is like your being energy, who you are, how you are, who you've been molded into by your life experiences, which is why I'm talking so much about like the past, I think, in this energy. Because I know why I am how I am. Like I can, like, if you were to ask me like, Ceylon, why are you so nonchalant? Ceylon, why are you so hesitant to speak your mind. That's not true. I talk my shit. But, like, you know, not just, like, unprovoked. Like, you know, it's just, I know why I am the way I am. Like, I spend a lot of time thinking about that shit. So, I think if you're not already in that energy, that can be part of what ends up being the food for whatever you're saying in your creative expression of self. And if you're having a difficult time thinking of things, you might need to spend more time in meditation. Like, allowing those ideas to come to you. To the sea, yeah. Like, you know, like, get on a boat and, like, travel out there. And if it's not a boat, it's, like, go on a hike. Or, like, go to the sauna. Or, I don't know. Like, wherever the place is where no one else is around that kind of feels meditative, like, do that. My cousin, in the Marines likes to, like, meditate. And he'll, like, astral project and shit. He's a Sagittarius. He's, like, super spiritual, but, like, in a masculine way. I think it's really cool. Like, he doesn't, like, read cards or anything, but, like, he's super zen. And you probably wouldn't, like, look at him and think that. Like, he wears, like, cowboy boots and has, like, a porn stash and, you know, he's a Marine. But he's, like, a really chill dude. Like, definitely insightful. I used to love talking to him about stuff because he's really good at listening. So if you do have, like, those friends that you do trust, it could be, like, maybe you want to, like, spark up and, like, have a session and you're just, like, talking to those guys. You know, and those could be the guys that actually help you. But I wouldn't just, like, you know, vent to, like, anybody about your personal shit. Because, you know, thoughts create manifestations. So even if other people aren't trying to be haters or dickwads, they could be thinking about what you want and not believing in your ability to get there, and then that could create a blockage to you, for you. So protect what you want from people who don't see you. Truly. Fork in the road. Literally, on top of the trickery. All that glitters, to be fair, and clean it up. So this card came out in the reverse in that same reading I was talking about. And it was, like, while it was raining, and that was yesterday. And then when I went out there today, it was, like, super, yeah, happy, higher power. It was super, and milk and honey. It was super beautiful out there today. And then I also, like, washed my hair, and I reconditioned it with, like, the special expensive conditioner that I got with my heat damage. So you could literally need to do some kind of it's like a face mask, but for your mind and your, like, self-image. Like, you might need to figure out where your self-image has holes and then literally, like, putty it up, like, fill those gaps in some kind of way for yourself, so that those holes don't really exist anymore, and so you can kind of move forward from a more balanced place, because you don't want to operate in more insecurity than you need to. I kind of feel like in some ways you could be your own, like, enemy when it comes to this creative process, when you don't believe in your ability to get to where you want to be, or the value of what you are contributing even right now, even if it's not the best thing that you've ever contributed. Like, I mentioned that whole thing with my songs and me not really liking them, people, like, around me liking them. Like, even when I first started to make these, like, videos, like, video content for, like, online, I used to, like, hate watching my videos because I felt like I looked ugly. Like, I always felt like I had, like, a really big nose, and, like, I talk fast and I stutter sometimes, and it's like, you know, if I look at myself, I can find things wrong with how I look, you know, it's just, like, anybody could. Like, I really believe anybody could, but, like, it used to get in the way, right, because I used to be like, if I look bad, then I can't even post this video, but, like, it was never really about how I looked, it was more about what I was saying, my intentions in saying it, and how it could help someone else, you know. Thank you, bro. Thank you for saying I'm never ugly, even though I know I sometimes am. Thank you for at least, you know, saying that, though. And I really feel like, you know, Jahdé, like, if you're watching this, like, you're finding those same people who, like, see the good in you, all that glitters, like, they will become so, like, their perception of you will shine beyond whatever moments of flaw you might have, you know? Like, everybody has moments of flaw because that's kind of what it is to be human. But I think the true, genuine appreciation is when you can find that moment of flaw in a person and still, like, lump that in with everything else that is good about them. Like, I mentioned Kanye West. Like, I used to not really like Kanye, and I almost feel like I like him more now that he's, like, openly crazy and insane, because I literally feel like I'm crazy and insane. Like, I've been through, like, some of the worst stuff in life. So when he's talking about some of the worst stuff in life that he's been through, I'm like, wow, you're really brave to, like, actually make a song about that shit, you know? So, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna find your people, and it may not be a lot of people. I never even had that many followers, you know? Like, I never even hit 50K. You know, there's people who, like, post, like, their toddlers getting, like, fed, and they have 50K. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally create spiritual content, and I never hit that milestone. So it's not about how many people there are. It's about the quality of the person and your intention and even having the platform. And I think that's what's most rewarded, because even when, like, my account was being suppressed and shadow banned, I always had enough, like, clients to support myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never had to go without things. So it's like, create the foundation of support through authenticity and genuineness that will carry you through forever. Like, if you just go into it like, I'm gonna be superficial, and I'm only gonna, like, try to look good and only say the things that I think people are gonna want to hear, you're gonna create this, like, fan base of, like, people who only really want to hear what they want to hear and aren't, like, really truly supportive. So just be aware of that. Like, what you give is what you're gonna get out of the situation. Like, kind of always. So, what might you need to improve? Let's see what cards I want to use for that. I'm going to actually use tarot for that. And I'm going to use my skeleton deck. Terra Obscura. And I'm going to have more coffee. Prost. What might Sade, bro. It's just now clicking. Feels like I'm yours, you're mine, like paradise. And her thing is, like, her music is super relaxing. Like, that's some shit you can go to sleep to, you know? So, I don't know if that's you, but, like, it might not be that you have, like, some kind of, like, melodic lullaby voice, but I think you're meant to be bringing peace to people. Like, one of the first cards that came out was serendipity and peace. So, how can Sade... I literally... how can Sade improve right now? What would their guides say? And now I'm using they pronouns. So, what would their guides say about how they can improve to better align with their greater manifestations and career in public image? I feel like if you're, like, overly anticipating, like, you doing things wrong, you're probably not doing that many things wrong. Yeah, the tower is literally coming out in the reverse. Like, your first cards were peace and serendipity. Like, I don't think you are in the position to lose much. And even when it kind of seems like you could be about to fall, there's always an angel that's going to come in to kind of pull you out, you know? Like, my account was in, like, the negative. It was negative, like, $7 yesterday, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm, like, really worried about an overdraft fee, because there was, like, an unexpected payment from, like, one of my subscriptions. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to get an overdraft fee. And then my mom texted me, like, right then, and she's like, do you need anything? And I was like, and I hadn't texted her, like, we hadn't talked in months, you know? And, like, just then, she texts me, and then I'm like, yeah, low-key, my account's, like, negative $10. And then she came through for me. So, like, You never even know how sometimes those like accidental moments or orchestrated moments for more growth or healing to happen for not only you but for other people around you. Because you also need to be open to support that wants to come in for you. Yeah, dude. There could be people who want to support you. And when I say that, I don't mean necessarily collaboration in the form of a song. It could mean like go on to what are those like secondhand like trading websites like eBay, like see what kind of equipment could be for sale right now. You know, like you never like keep yourself updated on like what's on the market. Like you might be able to pick something up that remotivates you and re-inspires you to want to get into the lab and start creating things. Maybe you need to start learning how to use like GarageBand. I mentioned like sampling. Like, what do you like? Like, what episode of Adventure Time really spoke to you? Like, is there like a quote that you want to add to your song that would make it better? Like, one time I made a song in middle school with my best friend, and we sampled Martin Luther King Jr. And it was a fucking Spanish song. It's called Yo No Sé, bro. Yo no sé. Yo no sé qué. Oh fuck, I don't even remember the lyrics anymore. Yo no sé qué. I wasn't even the one who sung the chorus, bro. I was on the fucking. We had a. It was a Coke bottle, and I like blew the beat into the bottle. Like I didn't sing the song. But my friend Justice really loved Spanish. Like she was really good at it, and she went on to like study abroad in like Spain, and she was cool as fuck. We're not really that close anymore because I kind of like fucked up that relationship. Because I was going through shit and I was like trying to still like have that relationship and like talk to her, but then like she would talk back to me and then I would be like unavailable for like another month because like when I get depressed, like I just disappear. Like that's me. Like if I'm going through some shit, like you're not gonna hear from me until I'm done going through this shit because I don't trust people to like help me really. So that's my like my fault really. If she's ever watching this, sorry, I don't know how to ask for help. But yeah, the devil in reverse. And that could be you. Like maybe you need to figure out, if not a person, just a way that you can vent out your own beast. Because the devil is the beast. You know, like it's that part of yourself that keeps you chained to a spot that maybe isn't the most favorable. Yo no sé. Yo no sé qué podemos hacer afuera. Yeah, there we go. We're there. I don't know what we're doing outside. Four Pentacles in reverse. You might need to literally save up some money to invest in some kind of expansion for your creative outlets. Like I just went to Walmart today and bought a bunch of like craft stuff because I'm gonna start like pen paling, I think. So, you know, whatever the fuck you're feeling inspired to do right now. It doesn't have to be that any one of your creative outlets is the end all be all. Because I was picking up on that energy of like mastery. Of like you just being yourself a powerhouse of a person and needing ways to creatively express. So like I creatively express not only through writing music, but also I journal. I create tarot content on several platforms now. At one point I had a Spotify podcast and I was like podcasting. What else have I done? I just do shit, bro. Like I just do whatever I feel like I want to do at that time. And then I just let it do what it does. I just see what feels good, what sticks, and what I want to keep doing. What is the most rewarding for me to continue to do. So like I mentioned that you might, if you feel like you're hitting a wall in one area, that doesn't mean, oh my god, I'm a failure. It means, okay, let me like look to see what's over there. Like how can I even did open mics, I mentioned that. So whatever, bro, just put yourself in the places where like mind exists. Believe in the fact that you're going to continue to be aligned with people who find value in whatever it is that you contribute. I used to paint. I used to sculpt with clay. I'm just a creative person. I used to make clothes. I designed clothes at one point. I had like those designer books as a kid. Eight of Wands, like, definitely. Like, you're just a person who has a lot coming behind them. So there's really, like, no limit to how you can express this stuff. You benefit actually more from being the kind of person who is jack of all trades. It's that Sagittarius energy again. Like, it's cool to be known for one thing. It's even cooler when that isn't the defining character of your identity. And I felt really limited by that. Like, because before I believed in my creative abilities, I was just a student. Like, and I like, only thing I was good at was school, because that was the only thing I actually did. And then I was like, oh my god, like, who am I outside of being able to make straight A's and being in National Honor Society and, you know, having chords on my graduation cap and shit, like, whatever. Like, I just realized that that shit didn't really matter as much as I thought it did. Especially because, like, at the end of the day, like, when everybody else was gone, I felt like a empty person, you know? So, fill up your soul, you know? Give your soul something to feed off of. Even if it literally means nothing to anyone else. The High Priestess here. Like, you have to give yourself opportunities to feel like you have rank, like you have proficiency, like you have mastery. Like, I was telling my little brother the other day, like, he plays video games all the time. I was like, you should stream this stuff, dude. Like, you have fun. I hear this guy, like, rage talking to himself on the game all the time, and then I'll laugh because I think it's funny. So I'm like, dude, you could literally be, like, the next fucking, like, Burleezy or, like, Markiplier or some shit, or, like, PewDiePie. Like, I used to watch PewDiePie play fucking Happy Wheels for hours. Like, if Happy Wheels can entertain me, and it's literally just, like, the easiest fucking game ever, like, come on, like, do your shit, basically. Like, whatever your shit is, do your shit, and then while you're doing it, believe that there's a value to you sharing it. Like, someone's gonna want to watch that shit. Someone's gonna want to watch that shit. Someone's gonna want to invest in it. And it doesn't have to, like, become some kind of overnight success. And it probably shouldn't if you're gonna really value it and your progress, you know? The Fool is, like, you being willing to embark on a journey and only taking, like, with you what you have on your back. Like, no one is gonna, like, don't go out and buy an account with, like, 10,000 followers already. Like, don't do that. Because it just won't be your shit anymore. It'll be the shit that you tried to, like, steal your way into. You know, it's just, like, fraudulent. Like, you probably need to get out here and, like, really earn whatever, like, just rewards are in your future. And the reason why you're determined to pursue those things is because they speak to you. So knowing that you're already, like, in your position right now of immaturity or perceived immaturity, attracted to that thing, know that it also recognizes you, and then just keep marching towards it. Make it your mission to become elevated in whatever position that you want to have. It could begin with, like, equipment, it could begin with knowledge, it could begin with just, like, renewed motivation to pursue things. Nine of Cups here in the reverse. But don't focus too much on, like, instant gratification when it comes to these things, because it feels like even the process of not being good and then becoming good is valuable here for you. I wasn't always good at reading cards. Like, I used to read tarot for myself way before, like, 4 years before I ever even made an account. I had tarot decks. And I had to learn. I used to bring my deck to school in high school and read for people in the cafeteria during lunch. And, like, I did it for free because I just wanted to. And I was still kind of good, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't like how I am now. Like, I definitely wasn't like how I am now because I was just an immature person then. So I had less to even speak on in terms of, like, my own knowledge of life. But I remember one time, my history teacher, Mr. Lyons, came up to me. He's like, "Are you doing witchcraft?" in the cafeteria, and I was like, "Yes." And then he was trying to, like, I don't know if he was making jokes or, like, if he was just, like, genuinely upset about it, but, like, he just walked away after that, and I never heard anything else about it. But yeah, like, seriously, like, you might not be everything all at once. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't continue to try to become something, basically. Keep trying to become something. I believe in you. Okay. I'm gonna close this out with some angel oral. Angel oral, bro. No way. Angel oracle. Hopefully. I don't know. That sounds kind of fire though. I could go for some fucking angel oral. Please. Okay. Help me focus. That's crazy. Yeah. What protection or assistance could you be receiving right now as it relates to navigating your music career and gaining reputation? Angel oral. Yeah, because you're kind of getting sucked up right now by your angels. They're glazing. Angel of night. I'm literally recording this at 12:14 in the morning. So it could be that you might need to shift something about your timing of investment of effort. Because if it's not night in terms of time, it could be like just your shadow, you know, like I don't know what kind of music you're trying to make because you didn't say. But if you're trying to, like, I mentioned Pharrell Williams before, like, 'cause I'm happy, clap along if you feel like it. Like, if you're not there, then don't make that kind of thing. Don't force yourself to kind of be uplifting if you're not uplifting. Because trust and believe that there are other people who live in that same level of darkness as you. And need to know that other people are there too. Like, think of, like, XXXTentacion, you know? I dug 2 graves for us, my dear. I never really liked X all that much. Like, he definitely has some, like, catchy songs and stuff, but he wasn't, like, my guy. I thought he was, like, a little too angsty, personally. But I never, like, really hated on him until I found out that he was, like, you know, being fed. Damn, but then I'm kind of a hypocrite, right? Because I was talking about Kanye West and how I don't hate on that guy. Maybe that doesn't make me a hypocrite. A little bit. But what can you say? Like, not everybody's going to be for you. And that's part of the reason why you shouldn't, like, worry too much about how people respond to your music, right? Because they could say whatever, but at the end of the day, it's just, like, either you guys vibe or you don't vibe. And it's not about, like, the content of that person's creation. It's about the fact that you just didn't match up with it. So I think that your angels are trying to help you to align with people who will be compatible with you. But the only way that they can, like, know that you exist is by you creating the content that lets them know that you exist. Like, you demonstrating compatibility. What other assistance are you receiving? Right hand empathy. So it could be that you're getting more of these, like, emotional feelings coming up within yourself, and you might not immediately feel inspired to, like, write from them, but it could be like when I was in my writing era of, like, songs, I used to write from my journal entries. So I would write a journal entry and then I would turn it into poetry. You might find that helps you, because I used to suck at, like, basically just freestyling onto the paper. Like, I didn't always know how I wanted to structure the song or where I was going with the song. But if you already have, like, a message that you're writing to yourself, and then you translate that message into something that's also for other people, it could be easier to structure it. Then we have the angel of snow. So I think you're getting some kind of protection or, like, assistance in becoming more soft with yourself. Angel of death. And also, like, killing off whatever that enemy energy is, even if it's just that other voice in your head that's, like, telling you that it's not good, or that you don't like what you're doing, or that it's not worth doing. Angel of annihilation. Yeah, you have darker angels with you. These are, like, darker energies. Angel of night, angel of annihilation, and angel of death. That's who you have on your side right now. And I'm wearing my Have Evil shirt right now. So maybe even there could be something for you to think about as it relates to like your background here. Like ethnically, culturally, whatever. My dog, who's German, literally just farted. That smelled gross, dude. But whatever. And I have, very mixed ancestry. Like I'm a very mixed individual. So there could be some inspiration for you in that. I don't know if like me telling you mine might help, but I'm various different kinds of black on two different sides of my family. I'm also Jewish, and then like European in a couple of different ways. So, yeah, like Irish and German, Nigerian, Native American, Jewish. Like there's a couple of things that I'm working with here. So yeah. You could be that kind of a person that like because you are so many different things, you can you can connect to so many different kinds of people. Like if you relate to that. And if you're not like literally genetically of different things, then it could be that you have been like well-rounded intentionally as a person. Like I went to schools that I had friends in middle school who were Indian Hindus. I had Muslim friends. I had Chinese Buddhist friends. So I've always been around a lot of different kinds of people and known how to appreciate a lot of different kinds of people, which I think is that right hand empathy angel card coming in for you. Like you're gonna be the kind of person where people feel safe around you, no matter like what externally might make them feel different from you. So yeah. I hope this reading helped and that you enjoyed it and that you come back for more. And if you were just watching this for fun, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay, bye!